Welcome back to my Mario Rabbids no damage-ish run. Last time I took on World 2 where I promised I'd upload this part with less of a gap, and I don't mean to brag, but it didn't take me literally over a year to update the series this time. Oh yeah, you might want to watch the first two parts before this one, but I don't know, maybe you really like World 3 and don't care about the other ones. That's cool too. Either way, the first thing I do after completing World 2 is go back to World 2 using the washing machine. If I want to have the best available weapons to make some combats possible and some less RNG reliant with super effects, then this is the best way to do it. I can farm gold efficiently by beating levels at or below the par amount of turns, and with better weapons I was already able to buy that unlocked after beating World 2. I just do the same two combats a couple of times until I can fully upgrade Mario, Luigi, and Rabbid Peach's primary and secondary weapons. The bonus sentry health will immediately come in handy, as sentry soaking hits has historically been the main way I avoid players taking damage. Luigi's upgrade isn't strictly one, however, as the sentry will now move 7 spaces instead of 6, which can make it reach an enemy quicker, exploding without having enemies waste attacks on it. Mario and Luigi's hero sights both demonstrate their usefulness here like they have in the past. Although Mario's damage is just below one-shot range without a critical hit. Add in a couple of 50% cover shots to make for a combat with a decent amount of RNG. Eventually, I started saving both sentries for the next turn to use after moving up to the statue. Here, I could use a sentry to guarantee a hit and to use up any villain sights that were up before moving to better hero sight locations. By using these strategies, I can easily finish the remaining enemies. As always, in between combats, I pick up as many orbs and weapons as I can before the next one, which is great because the next combat features the worst recurring enemy for this challenge we've seen so far: Peekaboos. Teleporting terror is an accurate description and an important distinction. As teleporting is not the same as walking, these belligerent boos move around the map without hero sight activating. Which is a huge problem, as hero sight is the only proactive way, besides sentries, to stop players from being attacked. Normally, enemies prioritize attacking sentries if a hero is behind any cover. But here, the map is so small that anywhere heroes hide will result in at least one getting attacked from behind without hero sight countering enemies moving to flanking positions. It doesn't help that the more passive you play, the more peekaboos will be alive to attack you, so I'm gonna have to try switching to an overwhelming offense. I can't stop saying alliterations. Somebody help me. These enemies aren't the only ones that can force movement with Magnet Dance. Rabbid Mario also comes with this ability, and what do you know, forcing enemies to move makes hero sight activate. I try a couple different spots to activate the hero sights, with the first couple running into some issues. If I activate Luigi's hero sight without moving him first, Mario will take out the one closer to him, which will leave the further one outside of Luigi's range alive. For this to work, Mario also has to be closer to that same peekaboo, so he moves closer than before. Mario then attempts a shot at the peekaboo behind 50% cover, which will allow Luigi to hit the foe twice by breaking the cover when it moves. Because yeah, that's a thing, where if the enemy is only visible while moving one square, then they only get shot once by hero sight. Luigi then uses his sentry to hit a peekaboo on the upper left during the turn it was used. Otherwise, the foe will attack a hero. This sentry has to be a critical, so I take it out in one hit. But that's not the only critical hit I need. Rabbid Mario also has to have his stone effect activate to prevent the last peekaboo alive from attacking, since I can't do enough damage to finish it off. If all of that works out, the two remaining spooky Ziggies will hide behind cover and set up villain sight. They can't get a clear shot on my team, so by skipping my turn, They skip theirs, allowing me to use a recharge sentry and team jump to finish the combat without taking a hit. Next up is another defeat all combat with peekaboos and boos. Boos will move any character or sentry that comes in one square of contact and teleport them randomly to a faraway area across the map. For the purposes of this challenge, they might as well not be random though, because simply teleporting my characters will prevent hero sight and proper positioning that I need in order to not get hit. Staying back to take out the first two enemies doesn't work because of supporter grenades always hitting with the cleave. Because of this, I have to reset my skill trees to increase the damage I do while dashing with all of my characters. I once again use Rabbid Mario for Magnet Dance, and since I put most of his points into dashing instead of moving, have Mario dash and then go up the pipe, which will put the boo on him. Then have Rabbid Mario team jump off of him to get into position to Magnet Dance, which I use after getting Luigi up. This resulted in Mario using his 2 hero sight shots to take out one supporter, Luigi using 2 critical hits to take out the other supporter using his slash shot on the rabbid from the start, still at full health since all my dashes were used on the other rabbid. This leaves a Ziggy alive for Mario to take out with his attack, and both Rabbid Mario and Luigi both getting a critical hit make it so the only enemy left can't do anything, allowing me to win next turn. And now for the worst combat we've seen this video. An escort Toadette mission, which is already bad enough since the clear condition means getting a slow character to the end unharmed. There are also peekaboos that will spawn. The thing is that the 2 peekaboos that spawn just so happen to spawn on the route I need Toadette to take in order to not get hit by Ziggies. I can't preemptively attack them because they start in the ground, which led me to believe that I might need to set up my sentry in a way that it would be over the peekaboo, and when it goes above ground it would need to get hit by a critical effect in order to die before attacking. There wasn't a position where that would work, however, and even when I came back to this level after finishing this world to try Magnet Dance to change the sentry path, that path wouldn't work out either. So I thought the best I could do is lower the amount of hits I took. This was easier said than done because the second peekaboo spawns right on the path I was taking. But by taking the other one, since I had already accepted the initial hit from the first peekaboo that spawns, I was able to finish the level before the other one spawned, meaning I only took 1 hit. But I wasn't satisfied with this, and tried some more things after finishing the world, so my footage here will show my characters with their maximum health increased, which obviously doesn't matter. And I only used weapons that were available during this combat, as well as only used the 400 orbs I had at the time to simulate my power at this point. I was kicking myself for not making a copy of my save file before this combat. Literally right after I finished it with 1 hit, I was wondering if I should just quit and copy my save file in case I came back, but went ahead anyway with my progress saved. The last strategy worth trying was staying back to see if I could hide from the peekaboos while using sentries to finish them, which might work on this stage because of how big it is. And to understand how this is going to work, I need to mention the enemies at the start, which I haven't touched on yet. There are 2 hoppers that start on the map and 1 that spawns in after the second turn. For these 3, I eventually land on the consistent strategy of using Luigi's hero sight while boosted by Mario's M power, which will usually leave both hoppers alive and 1 in position to send a sentry towards, while Mario dashes to break a shield, sets up a hero sight, and attacks. On the enemy's turn, Mario will take out both hoppers with his 2 shots. Luigi sets up hero sight, and once the enemy spawns, the sentry that was above him will explode, allowing the 3 shots to take him out. Now, my team is free to take the long path, which I'll need in order to stay out of enemy sight. I need to always have my team safely behind cover, otherwise peekaboos will hit me. but I need to be mindful of the pipe that connects this area to the lower path, because if I'm in sight of a Ziggy who took that pipe, then it will hit me. Once the peekaboo spawns, I find that by hiding behind cover far enough away from it, it actually doesn't attack my team, so this stage might actually be possible without taking damage. I send sentries towards it. Without a critical hit, I need both of them, and 2 makes it so they soak more hits like usual. Though 1 staying still due to the first one getting a critical hit can sometimes lead to a loss due to opposing critical hits. The Ziggies stay at the bottom of the map to target the sentries, but once they explode via doing damage or taking too much damage, they become more threatening. I need to continue moving through the long path since the enemies below infinitely respawn depending on how much Ziggies are missing. If 3 are left, at the start of your turn, none will poke their ears out. If 2 are left, 1 will poke its ears out. If 1 or 0 are left, then 2 will poke their ears out, so I'm not completely in the clear. I have to be mindful of when Ziggies are close enough and would have a clear shot at my team. This is difficult because of the pipe that is close enough to the one that goes up, leading to some cover being ineffective without hero sight. Ziggies also use villain sight, which I can counter with sentry movement or just being out of their sight. Once any character, in this case Rabbid Peach, who can move the furthest, moves up, enemies will start focusing this area, which makes things worse for me with Toadette needing to go the same path. Her limited movement causes it to take multiple turns for her to get in range of the pipe that goes down. The problem is that once she's down the pipe, the one leading to the exit is too far for her to enter, but by the time she gets close enough, enemies will respawn and attack her. So it's time for Luigi to use his ability, Itchy Feet, to allow Toadette to go directly to the pipe. I have to upgrade it to allow for 2 spaces of additional movement, which lowers Luigi's hero sight damage, but that's what Empower makes up for at the start, and the high ground bonus damage makes the lower damage not matter for when we move up. On the turn that I send Toadette down the pipe to commit to winning next turn, I take out every currently alive enemy and hide her behind the block, since enemies will always attack before moving if an ally has a 100% chance to get hit, which is why the 2-space Itchy Feet bonus is necessary here. On the turn I actually need to use that ability, I have Rabbid Peach, who I already sent down the pipe, move up further than she would be able to go if she took the pipe this turn, which allows Luigi to team jump near Toadette to buffer movement and get to the goal to win the combat without a scratch. That was a tough one that I spent hours on, since one mistake 30 minutes into a combat would send me all the way back to the start, but I'm glad that I can keep this world damage free, at least so far. The next handful of combats are pretty easy and straightforward, so I'll go over them briefly. We start the next reach area combat a bit surrounded, but the smashers can't reach me on turn 1, so I can get rid of the other enemies before making them come up the pipe and dashing away for big damage so that Mario's hammer can finish them. Next turn, Rabbid Peach can take out the last Ziggy, leaving the middle of the map a safe spot to recharge sentries and abilities behind the unbreakable blocks for the 4 hoppers. This lets me send sentries out and safely attack hoppers that get too close. I can safely move up once the group of enemies are defeated, as only 1 hopper will infinitely respawn if there are less than 2. Next is a combat with smashers and 4 peekaboos on a large map, which is ideal for countering both enemy types. The 1 peekaboo that's close enough to hit my team is also close enough to be taken out before it attacks. The smashers are easily dealt with using hero sight, which just leaves the other 3 peekaboos that can still attempt hits through 50% cover if I'm not careful. So I move Luigi after he uses his turret in order for Rabbid Peach to safely use hers on the same turn. The midboss for once is actually pretty easy since it's the only enemy you have to take out in order to win, and unlike other midbosses has terrible movements and mediocre range. I still take out the first wave of enemies that would damage me otherwise, which risks 3 50% misses, but I only need 2 of them to connect, and this is the first turn, so resetting here isn't a big deal. With Mario's M power buffing Luigi's triple hero sight, he does a lot of damage to the mid-boss as it walks up. The oil effect only increasing damage instead of also stopping the out-of-range opponent from attacking. On the following turn, Mario and Rabbid Peach take out the Smasher, while Luigi sends a sentry towards the boss, and Mario sets up Hero Sight to deal another chunk of damage. Next turn, everyone moves up to finish the mid-boss before the next wave of enemies even spawns in. That mid-boss was a far cry from the other two, but I'm not complaining. I also unlock Rabbid Yoshi for beating it, who will be needed soon. The next combat introduced Valkyries, who I introduced to my sentries and hero sights for an incredibly simple combat. The one after that is on a larger field with boos all over the place to teleport my characters to places they'll instantly be attacked. I dash with Mario and Rabbid Peach to take out the closest Ziggies and use both hero sights without pathing near a boo. Once they split at the end of the opponent's turn, they go to a random location out of a few options, and one of them makes Luigi get caught when he tries to hide behind new cover. I can actually play around this by sending a sentry for the boo to chase. With the little problem fixed, the rest of the combat is simple to use another hero sight and move up to finish the last Valkyrie. And, well, I don't think the game likes that I haven't taken damage yet. Oh wait, crashed. The first combat in 3-7 is on a small map with a hopper, 3 Valkyries, and 3 Smashers. If they get too close to my cover, the Valkyrie's landing area damage will hurt my team, so I have to be extra careful. This time I stick to the right while still being safe from the bucklers and sending out my sentries to soak hits while Hero Sight takes out a hopper and damages the Smasher and Valkyrie due to the latter's protection ability splitting the damage between them. One of the sentries survives the turn and explodes on a Valkyrie that is also protected. I can guarantee take out the Valkyrie that isn't protected by attacking it with Luigi, who is affected by M power, and sending 2 shots at the one behind 50% cover. The enemies hide and get in 2 attacks on cover, so I move back a bit more while sending 1 sentry up since the other would be too close to Rabbid Peach's, and miss a 50% shot with Luigi while hitting Mario's. It's alright though, because Luigi's upgraded hero sight only having a 1-turn cooldown comes in handy once again as he takes out 1 buckler while damaging the other. The enemies destroy Rabbid Peach's sentry, but now I can send Luigi's up while moving him behind the others so he can increase their movement, which allows Rabbid Peach to dash the 2 remaining bucklers and finish off the Valkyrie to the left. Mario's hero sight takes out 1 buckler and bounces another back to the last Valkyrie, who just attacks the sentry. Now Mario can jump in front of the 2 remaining foes and hammer, which thanks to protection, hits Valkyrie for 1.5 times damage for the victory. After that is a simple combat where all I have to do is take out the initial enemies, and when more spawn on the side I started on, take the pipe to the other one, and after they spawn, just go back to finish them off so I'm safe when the next wave spawns on the opposite side, which only needs 1 enemy from that one to die in order for the combat to be won. The last combat before the boss is actually a problem though. It's a reach area where the enemies are on both sides, which with the amount of orbs I have now, allowing for upgrades in all areas of the skill tree, isn't too bad by sending Luigi to the left and the others to the right for a sentry and a hammer. The issues are that not only do boos send us back to the start in plain sight of enemies, but a peekaboo spawns in the middle of the map as well. No matter what I do, the peekaboo will hit a hero, so I guess this is a forced hit. Who says the hit has to deal actual damage though? This is where Rabbid Yoshi comes into play. If you upgrade his shield's weapon resistance twice, it will make the shield block 100% of the damage it would do. And remember that thing I mentioned earlier where enemies will always attack a hero before moving if they're 100% guaranteed to get hit and in range of the foe? I can actually use that to my advantage here by sending Rabbid Yoshi right next to where the peekaboo spawns. But before that, I'll send in Mario first, who during the previous turn took out the foes who got dash attacked by Yoshi and then screamed at so they wouldn't be close enough for the hammer to hurt him. Then Mario moves up to have a Boo catch him instead of Rabbid Yoshi for my strategy to work. If 2 Boos spawn in the path to the peekaboo, that's an instant reset, so there's still some RNG here since Boos teleport whatever they're holding before enemies attack. A Hopper and Valkyrie spawn on the turn after, and 2 other peekaboos spawn after that, so it's in my best interest to finish the combat before that happens. Like I was saying, this is doable as long as only 1 Boo spawns in the path to the peekaboo, so Rabbid Yoshi can move up to the pipe on the next turn. This lets him dash into an enemy, and if his attack doesn't finish it, then I'll need Mario or Luigi to finish it through 50% cover, or better yet, use the sentry first. Hiding behind the full block is useless since it has a vampire box inside it to explode on the second hit. With Rabbid Yoshi, I need to dodge 2 50% hits at this point in order to make it to the goal on the next turn. But on my successful attempt, I was able to get Mario behind cover who only needed to dodge 1 50% hit and then bounce the other enemy to make it to the goal. This just leaves Phantom or Phantom, I don't know how you're supposed to say it since like he's Tom Fan at first, so I don't know, as the boss's world. He has a mechanic where you have to dash into the lights in order to turn off the spotlight so that he can take damage. He'll move and regenerate all 500 points of health twice after losing all of his health. With Rabbid Peach's movement, she can dash into the first light on the first turn and hide behind cover after sending her sentry forward. With the sentry out and heroes behind 50% cover, the boss will always attack the sentry, so this fight might actually be possible damageless. I moved Mario up, so his hero sight will hit a Valkyrie, while Luigi stays back and is in range of both Valkyries. This will take out the one on the left, and on my next turn, Peach's sentry with the larger explosion radius will hit both remaining enemies, only leaving the boss alive. I'm basically in no danger at all when the boss is the only enemy left. He'll spawn enemies when he switches phases, but for now I'm completely safe sending sentries to soak hits. After draining his health the first time, Phantom moves to the right, and on the turn after that, 3 bucklers will come out of the ground. So long as you stay away from the right side of the map before they spawn, you'll be fine. They're easy to take out with Hero Sight and my endless army of sentries. From there, the problem is getting in range of the light behind Phantom. I can keep distracting him with sentries while I move Rabbid Peach forward and hide behind the half cover near the stairs, which will let her dash into the light on the next turn, while still having enough range to run back to safety. The light on the far right can also be dealt with while distracting with sentries. But before moving to the next phase, I move all of my characters to the left so they're in range for the upcoming lights and near each other. This way, after each character takes out a light, they're close enough for Empower to guarantee victory this turn after everyone attacks for a no damage victory. Which of course is great, and even better means I was able to beat this entire world without getting hit once. Hopefully I can keep this up in the next world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and don't want to miss out on the next part, consider subscribing. The next one won't be out for a while since I'll be working on other videos first, so maybe check out some of my other challenges while you wait.